Okay, this is going to be the advanced math chapter review on logs and exponentials. Make sure you get your practice test. I did make some adjustments to this one compared to the practice test, so just make note of the questions. Okay, for number one, okay, it says write the logarithmic form or exponential form. So what you have to look at is there's really three parts to this. The 3, the 81, and the 4. All right, when you write your exponential, the first thing you should set is the base. The base here is 3, okay? And a good rule of thumb is that it cannot equal the same thing. So if the log equaled 4, the only parts left are 4 and 81, so this one's got to be 81, and the 4 becomes the exponent, okay? I'm going to erase that so you can see it, okay? So always set the base first. Can't be equal to the same thing. Same thing when you convert back to the log. That's the base. So I'm going to have log of 5, okay, down as the base. It's no longer going to equal 1 over 125. It's going to equal negative 3. 1 over 125 goes here. Okay? Moving down to number 3. Once again, I'm going to set the base. All right, that's going to be 4. All right, it's no longer going to equal 3. It's going to equal 64. That 3 is going to become here. Now on this one, you're going to see these both are answers. All right, on your test, you're only going to have 1. Okay? All right, moving down to number 4. All right, setting the base again. All right, I got log. Okay, since the base is 7, that will be 7. Can no longer equal 49, it's got to equal 2, so the 49 goes there. So if I'm looking at my selections, all right, that's a good answer right there is answer B. Okay? Moving down to 5 through 7, expand as a log. Okay, so this is the base of 4. These are attached through multiplication, okay? So multiplication turns into addition. Now, I want you to make note. All right, the base of these logs does not get separated. That stays. So the only thing that's going to happen is that 2 is going to move down in front. Okay, so what I would have is 2 log of 4y. And that would be my final answer here. Okay, on this one, because I have the y down here, that's going to be subtraction. These two are going to be addition. So once again, I'm going to keep the log of 5. All right, notice how I have the log of 5, and I have this one, I'm going to have minus log of 5 y to the 7. And what happens is all the exponents move down in front. So I got 2 log of 5 x plus 2 log of 5 z minus 7 log of 5 y. Okay, and that's that answer. All right, moving down to number 7, this is one of the ones I made an adjustment on. Okay, there was no answers here, they didn't match up. Okay, now what that is right there is that's really the natural log of 7 times y. Okay, the rule of radicals is when you multiply them together, that's how you get that. So if this is a multiplication, that's going to turn into addition. All right, now square root is really 1/2. Okay, so what I have is I have this. All right, so if you notice, I converted this into this, okay? The square root turns into 1/2. Cube root would turn into 1/3, okay? And then the exponents just move down in front. All right, and that's the expansion, okay? Going on to the next page. All right, now we're going to write as a single log. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move all the exponents back. So what I got is I got this, all right, to the 1/2 plus natural log of y. This turns into multiplication. That's going to be the square root. So what I have is ln, okay, I can do square root of x times y, or I could have written as natural log of y square root of x. All right, either answer would have been correct. All right, this one I would move the 2 back. So I got natural log of x plus 1 squared, okay, minus the natural log of 5, okay. All right, minus turns into division. So what I have is natural log of x plus 1 squared all over 5. And that would be my final answer. No need to go any further there. Okay, moving on to number 10. Once again, all of these are going to move back. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to have log. There should have been an x here. Some reason got left off. Log of x squared, all right, minus log of y cubed. Okay. Minus log of z4. Now, what the subtraction means is both of those are going to be division. Okay? All right, so both of those are going to be division. So what I'd have is I'd have log x squared over y cubed z to the fourth. Okay, and that best answer is C. Okay, all right. Once again, I changed some of these problems here on this one. All right, it says you deposited $3,000 in your account, 10% interest for 12 years. Let me lower that so you can probably see it. Okay, I changed some of these problems. Now, a couple things you need to know. N represents compounds in a year. Okay, so if you have the word annually, that means 1 for N. If you have monthly, that means 12. And if you have quarterly, that means 4. Okay? And you use all the formulas for this one except for continuously, which is that. Okay? Now, when you do the rate, that's going to be your rate. Now, what you should do is that goes in as a decimals of 0.1. If you had a rate of 8%, it would go in as 0.08. Okay? So just to let you know that if you have a rate like that, that's what you do. Okay? I'm going to erase this because it's not part of the problem. All right? Now, what is the balance of your investment if you compounded it monthly? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this on the calculator. All right, actually I'm going to write it out first. All right, so P is the amount I start with, 3,000. 1 plus 0.1 divided by, okay, now it says monthly, compounded monthly, so my N here is 12. Okay, then it says T stands for the amount of years. So I've got, this is 12 times 12. Okay, now when you go to type that into the calculator, okay, it's key that you do 3,000, okay, 1 plus 0.1 divided by 12. Now, where most people make the mistake, you got to use the exponential and you have to put parentheses around it. Okay, so my answer there is 9910.94. Okay, 9910. Let's look at that again, 0.94. All right, that's how much money I would have there. Okay, what is your balance if it's compounded quarterly? Okay, quarterly, so that would be $3,000 I start with. My rate's still 10%, but since it's quarterly, I'm dividing by 4, and 4 times 12, because my years are 12. All right, so when I type that in, that's going to be 3,000. Okay, 1 plus 0.1 divided by 4, raised to the 4 times 12, and that's 9914.46. 9814.46. Okay, that's the amount of money on that one. To find the balance continuously, okay, this is the formula that I'm going to use, the PERT formula. Okay, so I'm going to use my 3,000. E, my rate is still 10%. My time is still 12 years. Okay, all right, so when you go to type that into the calculator, 3,000, okay, my E button is located over the natural log. I'm going to put parentheses around it. Oops. Okay, and that gives me my answer of 996035. 996035. 996035, which happens to be B for an answer. Okay, so make note of those money problems there. Going on to solving exponentials. Now the key is knowing where to go with the exponentials. I know because it's a natural log, eventually those are going to become exponents of E. Now what I have to do first is isolate it though. Okay, so I got -3 natural log of -1. I divide those by -3. I got natural log of x equals 1/3. Now what I need to do is I need to make these exponents of E. Okay, and when that happens, that goes away. And all I got to do is figure out what e to the 1/3 is. Okay, so E, okay, to the 1 divided by 3. Okay, 1.39. Okay, all right, so 1.39 is my answer on that one. Staying with this one, all right, since I have an exponential, I got to take the natural log of both sides. Okay, so I'm going to take the natural log of 1296. Whoops. Natural log of 1296, which is 7.16. Okay, natural log of 6, what that does is that brings it down. So I got x plus 2 and the natural log of 6. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what the natural log of 6 is. It's 1.79. Okay, so 1.79 times x would be 1.79x. Okay, all all right? And now this becomes just a battle of decimals, okay? All right, 1.79 times 2 is 3.58, okay? So all I'm going to do to solve that is I'm going to subtract by 3.58, okay? And I got 1.79x equals that minus, so 7.16 minus 3.58. I get 3.58, I'm dividing by 1.79, and I get an answer of 2, okay? All right? Okay, so x equals 2 on that one, okay? Moving down to question 16, we're almost through. This is an exponential. What I need to do first here is isolate. Okay, I'm going to divide by 5. So it's e to the 2x equals 8. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. Now what that does is that eliminates that, and I get 2x. I'm going to figure out what the natural log of 8 is. Okay, natural log of 8 is 2.079. And I'm dividing by 2 to get my answer. Okay, divide by 2, and I get 1.039. Okay, for question number 17, all right, since I got to isolate first, so I'm dividing by 4 here, so I got log 3 square root of 2x equals 3, okay? Now, since it's a log, I got to convert it to an exponential, okay? So what I got is 3 to the 3 equals the square root of 2x, okay? Now, 3 to the third is going to be 27, okay? I think that's right, yep. All right, it's 27. That is square root of 2x. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this, I'm going to square both sides. Okay? So 27 squared is 729. And what that does is that eliminates the square root, which I have 2x now. And I'm going to divide by 2 to get my answer. Oops. Okay, 364.5. Okay, and that's the answer for that one. Moving down, almost done, not many more left. Okay, this one, all I got to do is take the natural log of both sides, which what that does is cancel that out, so I got 2x. All right, natural log of 45 is 3.80. I'm going to divide that by 2. I'm going to get 1.9, okay? Okay, there's my answer with that. Okay, this one is addition. Addition turns into multiplication. So I got ln of 4x, because 4 times that would be that. Now, to solve these, I got to make these exponents of e, which eliminates there. Okay, I figure out what e squared is. 7.38, and I'm going to divide 7.38 by 4. Okay, so that's 7.38 divided by 4. And my answer is 1.84. Okay, 1.84. Okay, moving on. We only got 3 left. Okay, subtraction means this is going to turn into division. Now, since it's a log, I got to convert to an exponential. So that's going to be 3 squared equals x plus 5 over x minus 2. Well, 3 squared is just going to be 9. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that up. Okay, so if I distribute that, that's 9x minus 18 equals 1x plus 5. Subtract an x. Okay, that's 8x minus 18 equals 5. Add 18. Okay, all right, I got 8x equals 23. And if I divide by 8, I'll get my answer. Okay, so 23 divided by 8. Oops, is 2.875. Okay, 21. Once again, I'm trying to get this by itself, so I got to subtract 3. So I got e to the x equals 76. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the natural log of both sides, which crosses out that. Okay, so all I got to do is find out what the natural log of 76 is. And it's 4.33. And that answer is A. Okay? Moving on to this last problem. It's a log. It's already isolated. So that's going to be 4 to the first equals 3x. 4 to the first is 4. I would divide by 3. I get x equals 1.3 repeated. Okay? And that's the answer for that. So in summary on these questions, okay, if you've got a natural log, they are going to become exponents of e. If you've got an exponential, you're going to take natural log. Now, if it's a base that's like a number, you're going to have to do some distributing. Okay? If it's a base like e, when you do the natural log of e, that's going to cancel it out. The key is isolate first. All right? Make sure you get everything away from your log, your exponential, your natural log. Okay? If you have a log question, you're going to eventually have to isolate that and convert it into an exponential. Okay? All right, and you can see that through these problems. Just rewind it a couple times, you'll get it. The key with this is practice. All right, if you practice it, it will make some sense. Okay. All right, moving on to the last part of this is the graphing. Okay. All right. So what I have here is I have 3 to the x plus 5 power. All right. Now what I want to do is my anchor point there is negative 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, since it's an exponential, that means I'm going to have a horizontal asymptote through it. Okay, all right, now to figure out the points, I use regular points. I use my base here. So 3 to the 0 is 1, 3 to the first is 3, 3 to the second is 9. So from this point, my anchor point here, 0 over 1 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3 up, 2 over 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? And this is what it will look like. Okay? Let's look at this. X-intercept. Does it cross the x-axis? Our anchor point does not count. So this is none. Okay? I can't clearly see the y-intercept, the domain. So what I need to do for the domain, okay, is I look at this. All right? If I look to the right, I see it. I look to the left, I see it. So my domain's all real numbers. My range is going to be all above this point. Now that point is negative 5, 0. If we're doing range, that's the y. So it's y is greater than 0, no equal to because it's a dashed line. My asymptote, that equation is going to be y equals 0. Notice this and the range are similar except for an inequality. Okay? Moving on to this. My anchor point for the log here is going to be 0, negative 2. Okay? 0, negative 2, which is right here. Since it's a log, I'm going to have this, okay? Now, what I need to use for my points, my base here is 4. 4 to the 0 is going to be 1. 4 to the 1 will be 4. 4 to the second will be 16. That's going to take me off my grid. Now, since it's the log, though, I got to switch all those. 1, 0, 4, 1, 16, 2. Okay? So from this point, I'm going to go 1 right, 0 up. From that point, I'm going right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 up. From that point, 16, okay, you just got to sort of imagine it's going to be all the way out there. So here's what my graph will look like. Something like that, okay? All right, now once again, I can't tell my x-intercept from looking at this. All right, my y-intercept, I have none as well. My domain, now here's what I'm going to look at here. Okay, that point is 0, negative 2. If I look to the right, I see it, but I look to the left, I don't. That's x is greater than 0. The range, above and below. So it's going to be all real numbers. Okay, my asymptote is going to be x equals 0. Notice the correlation there with your inequality, just like in that one. Okay, moving on, I think, to the last problem. Yep, last problem of this review. Okay, e to the x plus 3. So my anchor point there is 0, 3. Okay, now I'm going to use e to the x, 0, 1, 2. All right, to the 0 will be 1. E to the first, let me figure out what those are real quick. Sometimes those are tough. 2.7 and 7.3. Okay? All right, since it's an exponential, I'm doing that. 0 over 1 up from the anchor point. 1 over 2.7. 2 over 7.3, which will be way up here. Okay? Once again, I can't tell my x-intercept. My y-intercept I clearly can tell here. That's right there. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Domain. Once again, I'm going off of this. Okay? It's going to be all real numbers. Range. Everything's going to be above that point, which is at 3. Okay, so that's going to be y is greater than 3. And let's look at our correlation. Our asymptote is also going to be 3. Okay? So the key is when you do the find the points, use the bases to help you. Even with the log. The only trick with the log one, okay, is you have to flip those points around. Okay? Also practice the graphing. Okay? If you do go through the quizzes, make sure you go over those, because quizzes can be a little bit more in detail. You should be fine for the quiz, or for the test.